Ranteview.
Hey, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Ranteview from Ranteview. And today I'm with a very good mate of mine, Marcel, who I'm going to be ranterviewing today. So how's it, Marcel?
How's it going? Hi there, my name is Marcel Rheeder. I'm owner and founder of Fancy Fungy gourmet mushrooms. So I started growing mushrooms about 5 years ago for myself, just as a hobby. I've always enjoyed gardening and always considered myself a bit of a scientist. My love of mushrooms has just literally mushroomed from there. At the moment, I'm growing 4 different types of mushrooms. Growing pink oyster mushrooms, grey oyster mushrooms, shiitake, and as well as lion's mane. So thank you very much for watching. For the freshest mushrooms in Cape Town, you'll find us on social media, on Instagram as well as on Facebook.
So yeah, as we say in Cape Town, we, and it's a very, very hot day today. And luckily for us, we're standing in an aircon room basically. And yeah, you're probably wondering what all of this is around us. Well, Marcel here has come up with a very sort of unique and interesting idea that what would you say, a hobby turned into like a business idea?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. So what you're looking here is a bunch of Fancy Fungy, which is what would you say, gourmet mushrooms?
Gourmet mushrooms, yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically what Marcel has done is he's rigged up this whole contraption here in his garage, and he's actually growing these mushrooms, which is fantastic. What would you call this? Like a incubation room?
Well, next door is the incubation room,
okay.
And then this is the fruiting room.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the process and how we get to these. But what inspired you to start this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I got retrenched in the lockdown, so the whole COVID thing, you would know because you got retrenched with me. We actually worked together. He was my manager. So yeah, so after a while, not being able to find a job, I thought, well, should I better do something? I got to do something. I can't just sit here. And I had a bit of cash left over from like our compensation package. What's it called, man? They paid us out.
Oh yeah, I don't know the fucking
when you get retrenched
package.
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So I had a bit of cash left over, and like I knew it wouldn't last me forever. So I was like, well, let me invest that in doing this, and yeah, then I can make a profit from that. And so it's not going as well as I thought it would.
Okay.
I'm at least supplying one shop at the moment, so.
Okay, cool. Well, obviously it's not something that's going to like take off like.
Yeah. I mean, I've only started this in November 2020. We're now in February 2021.
So, and I'm assuming by looking at it, it's not a fast process, right? So,
no, not at all. The oysters are okay. You can get a harvest from scratch in about a month and a half.
But are these guys, yeah?
Yeah, so those are pink
oyster
oysters.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk us a little bit through the process, like from start to finish. How would you? Because I mean, obviously, as we can see, there's like a lot of bags around here.
Yeah.
They're all growing out the bags. There's some of that there.
That's shiitake blocks.
Okay. So what is there going to be shrooms growing out of that?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
you can see like they all grow a little bit differently. So
yeah.
The oysters grow very similarly, and then I've got some lion's mane over here. So that just kind of slits, kind of same as that. But then the shiitake blocks you actually take out of the plastic completely.
I see. Yeah, those ones there, right?
Yeah.
Are we able to pick that up and like just show it to the camera? Like, it's quite weird looking.
Cool. So yeah. So this is the shiitake block. Nothing growing on it at the moment, but lettuce. You know, I did see some pins. But yeah, in a few days there will be mushrooms on this again.
Alright, cool. So that, yeah, then obviously like the rest of them are all in bags. So yeah, so just in case anybody was wondering, these are not magic mushrooms. These are actually edibles, but
I always get asked that question when I talk people grow mushrooms. They're like, "Oh, magic mushroom." Why do people always go there first? You know,
always go there first. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just grow a bit of magic mushroom. That's fine. But yeah, so these are actually these are healthy gourmet mushrooms with the intentions of well, if anybody wants to buy it, but obviously supplying it to shops and restaurants that would like to have this. So yeah, so and then I check over here, we got a bit of like stuff going on here.
Yeah,
so speak us through a bit of is this the process from kind of like start to where we're going to get to a finished product?
Yeah, exactly. So so you start off with so this is a liquid culture syringe. You also get spore syringes, which is just made from a spore print, scrape some spores to
so what, you actually buy it with you buy the solution?
Yes.
Okay.
So this I bought. So this is actually Cordyceps militaris. I haven't grown this yet, but I'm very keen. I'll touch a bit later on why I'm so keen to grow it.
Okay.
So basically, as you can see on the bags, you can't really see in the light, but they're white like this. So the white there is mycelium, right? So in this solution, there's like a bit of sugar and mycelium. So the sugar feeds off the mycelium to stay alive in here.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
So from here, now this is a liquid culture jar. So if you look closely, I don't know if you can see, but you can actually see the mycelium growing in there. So you take a
cloudy, it almost looks like cotton wool, like floating in the
like
or
a jellyfish.
Yeah.
So you take
You're gonna have so see it in there. So we'll get a close up of that later and get it in the mix.
So basically, you can either start with your spore solution or a liquid culture, and you make your sugar solution in the water like this, sterilize it, and then you just inject about 1 to 2 cc's of that into this jar, which is 600 mils. And then to make up a bag, I need to make grain jars from here. So this is sterilized grain. I like using sorghum. So you take a bit of the liquid culture and inject it into your grains, and then your grains, the mycelium grows through the grains until it's fully colonized, and from there, chuck it into your grow bag. So it's like oak sawdust, and I also use beechwood chips in there just for a bit of different nutrients for the mushrooms. I seem to like that. And and once this is fully colonized, you can see at the bottom here, it still needs to colonize here. Then once this is fully colonized, I can bring it from the room next door into here, and then we'll end up growing mushrooms, depending on what you.
Oh, cool. So that seems like quite a process. Totally over my head. But so how long did it take you to like learn all this shit? Like, I mean, how did you learn it? Did you just like do your own research?
Yeah, just my own research and through lots of trial and error.
Of course,
Yeah, lots of trial and error. But yeah, just research online, and like it's kind of difficult as well, like especially here in South Africa, because all the info that you find online, it's all like Americanized. So like So I mean, like even stuff like the grains that they use rye berries because it's easy and cheap for them to get there. But it's you can get it, but it's not easy to get and it's expensive. But I can get sorghum, which is fairly cheap and very easy to get. So so it's things like that.
Do you ever find yourself having to import stuff because you can't get it here?
No, always make a plan.
Always make a plan to find something that's going to be similar.
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
And trial and error, find out what works best.
Okay, cool. So then I checked, like, you've also got like air cons running and shit. So what is the temperature that you have to maintain in this?
Okay, so each mushroom actually has a fruiting temperature range. So range which the ideal conditions for them to grow, and that's why I'm growing the types that I'm growing in here, which is the pink oyster, the grey oyster, shiitake, and the lion's mane.
Okay, why is that? Because they can all grow in the same range?
Yeah, there's 21 degrees Celsius is actually where all those ranges overlap. So that's why I'm able to grow them all in the same room. What's not so ideal though is they all have different fresh air requirements. So they need certain amount of air exchanges per hour, and they do vary in here, but especially with the oyster mushrooms, they do give you a bit of like leniency They're
Okay.
pretty easy going.
So when they're in the process next door, then you don't have to use air cons and stuff. Or?
I just have a fan in there because another thing that amazed me about mushrooms when I first learned about it is, just like animals, they also breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. So
Yeah.
it's just to get a bit of fresh carbon dioxide in them so they can actually breathe and not like smother.
They're alive.
Yeah.
So obviously, you obviously know your shit about each mushroom. So I mean,
Yeah.
health benefits. I mean,
Yeah, well, the lion's mane actually has great health benefits, especially for your brain. It's actually a neuroregenerator. So actually read of trials where they successfully treated patients with Alzheimer's just with the lion's mane mushroom.
okay, great.
I mean, you just need a 3-gram dried lion's mane. That is a dose per day, and after 3 months, you'll see significant improvement in your memory and cognitive function.
Okay, cool. So and then I'm assuming like these you can either chow them raw or cooked, or
No.
what's the vibe?
Well, you shouldn't actually ever chow mushrooms raw,
Okay.
because the cell walls of a mushroom is made up of a substance called chitin. So it's a very tough substance. So all the nutrients is actually locked in those cells, and even your stomach acid doesn't really break them apart. It does a bit, so you will get a bit of the nutrients, but that's why you always have to cook mushrooms because heat breaks down the chitin. So the
Okay.
cell walls and makes the nutrients available.
Oh, cool. Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah. So I've seen people put like just button mushrooms in salads and stuff. Like, yeah, it's got a taste, but you're not getting anything from it. You're just gonna poop it out.
All right, cool. So yeah, alrighty, cool. Thanks for taking us through this process. It looks very involved. So yeah, if you're wanting to get in touch with Marcel, obviously he's got his own social media networks and shit. So like Facebook, all of that jazz. If you're a restaurant owner and you wanted to try out some of the stuff, get in touch. Yeah, looks like a great healthy sort of idea
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, all of the mushrooms are packed with like antioxidants, so it like boosts your immune system and all of that. So especially come winter time, you want to boost
Sure.
yourself a bit. Actually, a really good mushroom for that is turkey tail, but it's another story.
Cool. So, and then just before we end off, just tell us again what was exciting you about growing this one? That
Oh,
you
yeah,
haven't-
the cordyceps.
that you haven't tried yet. Yeah.
Okay, so cordyceps. I don't know if you guys might have seen it before, but in nature documentaries, have you ever seen like where the mushroom grows out the caterpillar's head?
Out of a caterpillar's head.
Yeah.
No, I haven't
Okay.
seen it.
Well, I'm sure some people might have seen it before. So those are cordyceps. So they're grown in a completely different way to these mushrooms, but these boost stamina like tremendously. So like for athletes and stuff like that.
Okay.
So just an
They're
example.
getting in the market before we make it illegal.
Yeah, and like it's not
Custom
really.
menu will be like.
It is on the market, yeah, but it's just not that well known, and that's actually one of the things I want to do with my business is to create awareness of benefits of mushrooms. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
oyster
Yeah.
mushrooms can be used to clean up oil spills, like from tankers.
Really, yeah.
and shit
Okay,
like
cool.
that.
Yeah. And that's exactly why we sort of feature these types of things on this channel, because like not only do we want to promote small business and stuff, it's also just good awareness. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, if I didn't know you and you didn't start doing this, I mean, I would have known the first thing about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then everything you're telling me, I'm just like, okay, cool, man. Yeah.
No, so with the cordyceps, I think it was the '95 Olympics. So the Chinese team broke 5 world records at that Olympics, and it's never been done before. So they were like, oh, obviously these oaks are doping. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
tested them all for
The first
doping.
thing they go to,
Yeah.
doping, yeah, okay.
So they were all tested for doping, and it all came back negative. So they're like, what the fuck? And they went to the coach, and the coach was like, cordyceps, bro. And just another study that I read is they took like obviously a control group of mice, and then mice that they gave cordyceps to, and they let them swim until they drowned. And then the cordyceps mice actually swam 20 times longer than the mice that didn't have the cordyceps.
Crazy.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Well, like nice end result, bit of a cruel fucking method. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And then how would these also grow out of like a bag like this?
No,
Obviously, you don't have
it's-
caterpillars running around it.
Yeah, so that's why I haven't grown this yet, because the substrate, so that's the medium that the mushrooms grow on. So the substrate for this, I'm trying to find a good recipe for it, because I mean, the one recipe I read actually uses baby formula. but
Okay.
not just baby formula. It's like a whole concoction of things. But the recipe that I like, the ingredients that you need to buy is very expensive, but you only use a very little bit of each ingredient when you're making your substrate, so it will last long. But it's just an investment to initially to get all the ingredients. So,
All right.
yeah,
Cool.
so one day I'll get there.
All right. Cool. And obviously, I suppose, I mean, you know, if you do get any sort of big people that you need to supply, like you're going to need volumes of stuff. So obviously that's just a thing that you got to kind of wait now. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody came and said, I want 20 kgs of this. I mean, you don't have 20 kgs. So what's like the growing time?
So, well, if you have your grain spawn already, so this, and you inoculate the straw, because those Westers grow on straw, pasteurized straw, you're looking at about 2 weeks for full colonization, and then you put into fruiting conditions, and from there it could take 5 to 7, maybe 10 days.
Okay.
Till you get.
So the longest process is all of this year until it starts actually growing and then it's fairly quick.
Yeah, and that's also why I use the liquid culture, because the mycelium's already growing and then already active. So if you start from spores, you have to wait for the mycelium first, and then it's just
cool. All right, cool. So quite interesting how like these ones grow out of straw, which is quite interesting.
They can actually grow up anything. Grow up paper, coffee grounds.
Okay.
Basically any waste material.
Interesting. All right, cool. Alrighty, sweet man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and listen to some music now. Obviously, that's what I'm all about. We've got some heavy metal to listen to. Got us a submission from Oklahoma. Band is called From the Grave. We're gonna go give that a listen and see what we think about that. Peace. Peace. Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome. So as you can see, we've relocated out of the mushroom incubation room.
Fruiting room.
So we're gonna listen to some tunes now, and obviously, so Marcel is not really per se a metalhead, but
I do appreciate good music.
That's always a good start. So Marcel's always been very supportive of me and my bands. So even though he's not really a metalhead and that, he's always come along to like watch our shows and stuff like that, and he always had a good time, right?
Yeah, I couldn't walk for a few days after a few shows.
That was funny. He came to work on the Monday, he couldn't walk because he was like having so much fun in the mosh pit. It's a whole show, Everyone was like, what's wrong with that guy? It's like, mosh pit. So that was great. But if you had to say music that you enjoy, what would you say has been music that you thoroughly enjoy, that, kind of, I don't know, that's maybe some music inspired some people, what would you say if you had to put it into a box, like, that'd be like good rock and roll, or,
I don't know, I don't really have like a specific genre that I prefer. If I like a song, I like it, whether it's metal, blues, jazz,
cool.
rave, fucking dubstep, whatever, as long as no, not so much the dubstep anymore.
But okay, cool. So and that's what I always try to aim for on the show is it's kind of boring having like metalheads on and listen to metal, because it's nice to get like outsiders' perspectives. It's like somebody that doesn't necessarily have an ear for metal, listen to a metal band and then like just see what they say. And sometimes the reactions could be interesting. But I know like when we released our one video, because it was all about like farm murders and stuff, we went out onto like some Facebook group or page or whatever, where they talk about like farm murders and stuff, and it was all like older conservative people, and they were like, oh, what's this crap? So it'd be cool to have somebody on the show that maybe that one day that would have that kind of reaction. But okay, cool. So today we have a band out of Oklahoma. So these are our guys here. They are called From the Grave. This was sent through to us by Zoe, who obviously promotes them. They, like I said, they're from Oklahoma, 3 of them. They say that it's sort of a blend of psychedelic metal with chilling, phantasmic riffs. That's a big word. Phantasmic. Okay, cool. So they say the Cosmic Doom pairs well with artists like Pantera, Black Sabbath, Motorhead, Death, and Opeth. Alright, cool. So yeah, the track that will be featured. Okay, well they actually got a EP out called Around the Fire, so go check that out. And then they have an EP or an album coming up called Indian Burial Ground. Alright. So yeah, we're gonna play a video of theirs today, which is called Invest on the Inside. And yeah, I don't really know. It's a little bit unclear to me on the email that was actually sent through if that's from the upcoming EP or album, or if it's from the actual existing one. I'm not entirely sure, but nevertheless, they got a video out for Invest on the Inside. So yeah, this is From the Grave with Invest on the Inside. Let's check it out, see what that's all about.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you reckon you could get your legs sort of fucked up to in a pit?
Yeah, give me no fears, bro. Definitely.
Cool, man. Yeah, from the grave. I quite enjoyed that. I can actually definitely pick up like a sort of Paradise Lost feel in there. Also, definitely some Pantera and even Death in the vocals. I actually really enjoyed the vocals. Very cool stuff. Great guitar riffage as well. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, video obviously sort of very much sort of current affairs at the moment, I suppose, with COVID and lockdowns and as well as like Black Lives Matter bullshit and Antifa and all them rioting and shit all over the place. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going on. I see a lot of artists nowadays sort of like bringing out stuff like that. But I suppose, hey, current times gives you inspiration for stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So yeah, well, guess that's a wrap for us. Definitely check them out. From the Grave. Get them on Facebook. They're all over socials. YouTube. Get them on the streaming platforms. And yeah, if you fancy yourself some fancy fungi, get hold of Marcel here and get yourself some healthy shrooms, maybe. Get a little bit of this stuff on. Flip side. Oh, okay. Fucking try. All right, cool. Peace out.
Cheers.